What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another SLA video. So, common question I constantly keep getting, guys, is what skills should I level up for my hunter? So we're going to talk a little bit about that and go over each SSR hunter only for now. We'll do an SR version of it later on just because the video will be way too long. And I want to tell you guys my thoughts and the reasons why these skills should be prioritized for each of these SSR hunters. Now remember, the way to level up your hunter skills is to have hunter scrolls. There's a couple different ways to get them. All you need to do is go to the skill section here, click on your hunter, and then go skill up, and you'll see exactly where you can find the source. Now you guys can see here, this is the higher end source. These ones now require these mana power extracts. These are the level 7s and up. So let's talk about every single unit, and I'll tell you guys where you want to focus on and why. All right, so this is the main important thing. So first off, for Cha, the reason why you want to focus for her first two skills here, specifically the wall stance, is because a lot of her damage just scales off of this. Now remember one thing, whenever you level up a skill, it only levels up the damage. The cooldown, the MP consumption, all of that does not change whatsoever. It's only the damage that goes up, okay? So in this case for her, because all of her damage comes from her waltz and her A3 skill and her alt, you're only going to be focusing on getting the waltz up. So the dancer first, get that up as your priority. Second, you want to put it into the Sword of Light, and then third, you want to go into the Light of the End. Now the reason why in that order, because once you start advancing her, you can now do more of this, right? And it stacks more, so you do more damage. You're gonna be using it more often. This here ends up just doing a lot of damage in the first place, so you just want to get as much of it up as possible. And then when you get her to A5, you want to push this damage as much as you can, because the more of the waltz, the dancer that you have stacked, you can do up to 100% more damage. So you want to make sure this is scaled off of the highest possible percentage on your A3. So 1, 2, 3. That's where all your thing is gonna go towards. You don't have to worry about this as much because the damage is nice, but you're really doing it for the unrecoverable and the brand and the QTs. At the end of the day, it's just, again, you're doing it for the effect. Sometimes you don't even use QT, to be honest. You just bring the unit in. All right, so that's it. 1, 2, and 3. Moving over to Choi. So with Choi, it's imperative that you actually do the same thing as we did earlier. You want to focus on the first two basic skills. The reason why is because when you cast your ultimate, it resets the basic skill. So you always want to have these active as much as you possibly can. So you want to push the damage on these as further as possible, as fast as possible, right? And the beauty here is with A1, this Rain of Flames also becomes Crater, which does way more damage. So you want to go 1, 2, and then 3. That's all that matters here. Now, the QTE for him is important because when he does come in, he'll do a lot of damage and it does an AoE. So you definitely want to push a little bit into QTE. And he also does the burn and decrease defense at the same time. And his core damage is pretty effective as well, too, as an AoE unit. But at the end of the day, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are probably all that's going to really matter for you. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? Focus on those. Outside of that, if you don't have 4, just do these 2 and then 3. Exactly same as Cha, all right? Okay, moving over to SM Beck. He's a little complicated, all right? So here you don't really want to focus on this. Don't put any energy into this whatsoever. His ultimate, definitely focus on that. So you want to do the following two things. You want to do actually the core damage, because a lot of his damage comes from core, especially when you use the dragon set. So core will also provide you with more bleed. Or not stacks, but at least it keeps you bleed up. So core damage for sure, this skill for sure, and the ultimate. Those are the three main things you want to do. Don't worry about his support, because again, his support is really there for this, the 20% extra attack and increased damage taken during that phase is not going to be changed. So this doesn't change at all. It just affects a little bit of the damage, but again, you want to go 1, 2, and 3. Don't worry about this. It's not about the damage. It's really about the effect, okay? So that's how you do his. All right, moving over to Sa or Xiao, however you guys want to say it. I'm just going to stick with that. So for now, two things for her. 1, 2. Most important parts for her. The reason why is because you can spam these all day long. As long as you have her training up, especially with her A1, my gosh, she hits so hard. These two are going to be the most important ones. Keep these two going as much as you possibly can. Her core damage actually is important because it does a weak break, but also the number is not bad. Plus this here resets these two. But more importantly, you want to go here. Okay, so the ultimate skill. So you want to go 1, 2, 3, and if you can't afford it, do 4, but that's as far as you need to go with her. All right, let's go with Emma. Emma's is straightforward here as well too. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the reason why you do core is because every time you cast this, which has a very short cooldown, it instantly pops this up as something you can do. So the core damage actually happens very often with her. So you want to do 1, 2, 3, and then you do 4 here. Okay, you really don't need to do this at all. You can if you want. It's not a big deal. The support also not really that important because you really do it for the effects, so you don't really need that. The effects will remain the same. Remember, it's just the damage that changes. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4 in my opinion. That's just my opinion on it. You can also go 1, 2, 3, 4, but those are the most important ones for sure. And again, I'm only saying these two because this will proc this one from happening almost every time, and her core damage, you can see here, is pretty hefty in terms of how much it does. So definitely worthwhile, and it also causes a burn. All right, Lee Bora, or Bora Lee, whichever one you want to call her. So her Dark Circles, probably her best buff, so definitely get that up. Her Foxes, and then her ultimate. Pretty straightforward with her. Don't really need to know much more. Her ultimate does insane amount of damage, by the way. So you definitely want her Dark Circles first in order to be able to do more damage with the ultimate. So you can go 1, 2, 3 as a matter of fact, if you want. Her Foxes can be not priority. You can put them last. They don't really do much damage in the first place, but there are 3 of them that cause this much. So it's not too shabby either. All right, moving over to Lim. Core damage for sure. This, not a big deal. Don't worry about this. Don't even level this up. I wasted my time on that. So it should be 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's all that matters. The reason why you don't level this up is because at the end of the day, he's going to be doing his sliding move, and that's what matters most with it. And then this damage is really not that high, so not a big deal. But it can be used up to 2 times when he does the slides, right? Unless you have A3 and then you A2 or A3, then you can do it 3 times. But at the end of the day, really, it's the core damage, the core damage, the Typhoon Fire, and the quick attack Typhoon Fire here. Those 3 are the major ones for him. All right, Dongsu, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Definitely all worth it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you guys can see here, this can be done 3 times in a row. This core damage is insanely high. This is just can be charged up, and this over here has the biggest multiplier for any ultimate in the game, period. So he is a little more costly, but he's worth it, especially if you plan to use him as a main DPS. All right, Beck, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing. Exactly the same thing as Dongsu. The reason why it's good because his core damage actually does a lot of damage as well too. So these are heavy hitting moves, and then his ultimate is actually pretty high up, and it also does a defense shred. So 1, 2, 3, 4, my opinion. All right, Min. Really nothing. Leave it empty. Leave the whole thing empty. You don't need to do anything with him. That's the beauty of him. He's not there for damage. He's there just to cause all of his buffs and move on. So he's the easiest one to cover out of all of them. And then Jinchul, also I have 0, but you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Support you can do as well too because he does a pretty decent damage, and he does give you dash, but that's essentially it. Okay, so at the end of the day, really for him it's just 1, 2, 1, 2. Sorry, right here, 1, 2. This one first, this one second, ultimate third. Okay. Unfortunately, the weakest wind unit in the game for SSRs. There's only 2 of them at the moment, but overall the worst SSR in the game as well too. So that covers all of your SSR units. Those are the priorities for skills. Remember, skills only level up the damage. They don't level up the percentage for cooldowns. They don't level up the percentage for buffs. None of that gets affected. It's strictly for damage. So when you are focusing on your skills on your users or on your hunters, remember, only focus on the ones that are going to cause damage. The buffers don't usually need it. They're not going to need it. So don't waste your skills. Now, how do you get skill tokens? Well, that's pretty straightforward. Let me show you guys. Let me find somebody here with level 1. Let's go with, Min, for example, has level 1, right? If I want to go skill up, these tokens here can be found in various different places. Red Gates drop them, the shop, Celebration Shop drops them, and you can get them from events, right? Now, as you level up, you're going to need blue ones. These can be crafted from using white ones. I don't recommend doing that, but these also can be done from the Red Gates and the Celebration Shop, and as well as from events. And then lastly, the purple ones are also from events and can be purchased from the red, or can be farmed from Red Gates and also purchased from the Celebration Coin Exchange Shop, okay? And also be crafted as well, but again, don't recommend the crafting section. It takes way too many regular scrolls to craft, and you're going to run out of them super quick. So there you guys have it. That's the video. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. This is Payne. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.